What have you put to the side as a result of rejection, and you were showing up consistently and then you stopped? Who said something to you to make you give up on you? Hello and welcome to the No Fear Ever podcast. This is a space that helps to teach you how to give fear its eviction notice. I am your amazing host, Deidre Renee, but I'm also your fearless strategist. And I am here to help you create a space to where fear will begin to fear you. I want to remind you that my co-host is always here. My water bottle, whoop, whoop. Get hydrated, drink your water, all right? Today I want to start with a quote that says, "The only thing we have to fear is fear itself." And that is by Franklin D. Roosevelt. So last week, I want to recap last week. I spoke about having faith for the journey. And when you think about having faith for the journey, two of the points that I brought up last week, I would love to just touch on those really quick. The first one is that you have to have a rock solid belief system. If you do not have a rock solid belief system, I promise you that when you embark upon that thing that you're so sure that you are supposed to accomplish, that you are supposed to thrive in, when the challenges come, when the obstacles come, if you are not solid in your belief and in your identity, it will cause for you to start doubting who you are. It will cause for you to make you second guess the thing that you were so sure about in the first place. Make sure that you have a rock solid belief system, whether that is in yourself, whether that is in God, whether that is in the village that you have surrounded yourself with. Make sure that you have a rock solid belief system. The second thing that I love to talk about now, because this is something that I'm actually going through, is learning the art of letting go. Learning the art of letting go. It's so hard to say goodbye to yesterday. Shout out to Boys to Men. Some of you are so fixated on the things that have brought you to this point, all the while knowing that it is time to let go of some of those traditions, some of those friends, even some of those family members, some of those ideas, some of those thought patterns. It is time to let go and begin to embrace the new. And a lot of times we don't realize that we're holding on for dear life. We're clinging on to the very end of that thing, right? And we're trying to force relationships, and we're trying to force ourselves to still like the same thing, when in actuality, we are evolving every day. And as a result of evolving, you are going to have to let things and people go in order to have room for the new. So I wanted to leave you with those 2 points. You can always go back and watch my last episode called Faith for the Journey. Now it is time to dive in to this week's particular episode title, and that is called Consistently Show Up. Consistently show up. I want for you to do a self-assessment really quick and begin to think about all of the things that you have said you were going to do. Begin to think about all of the things that you have felt like so many obstacles were in your way, and you just kind of put it on the shelf because you did not want to continue to have rejection be a part of your daily routine as a result of trying to aspire to be better and to have better and to do better. Think about that for a second, please. What have you put to the side as a result of rejection, and you were showing up consistently and then you stopped? Who said something to you to make you give up on you? What happened? How many no's did you get that made you say, maybe I shouldn't pursue that. Maybe this isn't for me. Maybe this isn't the time to do that. Right? Because we've all been there, especially creatives. You can work a 9 to 5 and still be a creative. Okay. So I'm going to talk to the creatives today. I'm going to talk to the people that are trying to come up with something that's going to give you financial freedom. I'm going to talk to the people that are trying to come up with something that is going to yield their children freedom, that is going to provide legacy in whatever area, right? I'm going to talk to you today because a lot of times it is easy for us to see the goal and not focus on the process. It's a lot of times easy for us to see the result and know the result that we're shooting for and totally disregard what it is going to take to get to that goal. Now, you can't include everything because life does happen. But what have you not included in the formula for the end goal? And then the rejection made your heart cold. So there's a verse in the Bible that I love, and it says, hope deferred makes the heart sick. Meaning things that you have hoped for and you're now disappointed in that area, and not just one, but over and over and over and over again, it has now made your heart sick. It has now caused for you to stop showing up for the thing that you once had a strong belief system in, right? It has now caused for you to let go of something prematurely. Hope deferred makes the heart sick. Some of you have a very sick heart, and it's not because you want for it to be sick. It is because you are so used to being disappointed that you now have no expectations even of yourself. Hope deferred makes the heart sick. One of my pet peeves is when someone says that they are going to do something and they don't do it. One of my pet peeves is when someone says they are going to pick me up at a certain time and they don't. One of my pet peeves is when people say they're going to do something and I can expect it on this date or at this time by this method, and it never happens. Hope deferred makes the heart sick. And so when my heart gets sick, I can only speak about Deidre's heart. When my heart gets sick, it will definitely let you know that it did not appreciate that at all, because all we have is our word. And if I cannot trust your word, then that means I cannot trust anything that you promise me. I can't trust that you are going to come through. I cannot trust that if I need something and it's an emergency, that I can call you and you will come through. Hope deferred makes the heart sick. One of the easiest ways to get into my heart is to be consistent. I tell people who I know are kind of lazy, maybe not, maybe they're not as passionate about getting to their goals and accomplishing their goals. One thing I tell them is stop treating consistency like it is a curse, right? Or a curse word. Stop treating consistency that way. Consistency sets you up for things that you may not be smart enough. You may not have graduated from college. You may not have perfect example. I know this guy very well. He went to college, but he did not finish. He had a baby and decided to marry the girl. And he never went back to school. But as a result of his consistency, as a result of him being insanely smart, studying the industry that he is in, He is now vice president of a company without a bachelor's, without an associate's. He was only in school, I think, for a year, in college for a year before his daughter was born. And so he had to drop out of school so that he could provide for her and her mother. Consistency will take you to places that you don't qualify for on paper. Look at consistency as a method of transportation, right? The more consistent you are, the better your reputation is. The more consistent you are, your reputation will go ahead of you and people will speak well of you and they will trust based off of your character and integrity, right? That's all a part of consistency, that you are the man for the job and that you are the woman for the job. It is high time that we stop looking at what it is going to take in order for the process to move us to the end result that we see. I have to be honest. I just finished a podcast launch with David Shands. It was so good. I paid him way less, and I paid for VIP. I paid him way less than what it was worth. One of the things that David said on the first day, you guys, it was the first day for everybody. So the VIP, we would meet 45 minutes ahead of the actual general session. And so the first day, because the very first day was a Sunday and it was strictly for VIPs. That Monday, right? It was Monday through Friday for everybody. That Monday, he said at the end of the session, everybody's not going to come back. Everyone is not going to be consistent. We have 82 people in VIP. And I know that number is going to be lower by the end of the week. Now, that could have been a tactic or a strategy that he was using to, bait us and provoke us to come every day to prove him wrong, which it actually worked. But the next day I had to miss and I felt so bad. And I don't like to waste money. So I was upset all at the same time. And I was like, David is not right. I'm going to prove David wrong. And the reason why I took it so personal is because I used to be that girl that was inconsistent. And I'm going to tell you more about that after these messages. Ladies, this beauty is a beast now carries hoodies that are so soft and sweatshirts. You know it's cold outside, girl. But don't forget, we also carry accessories now. Look at this mug. You guys grab it and remind yourself every day that you're beautiful and you are always executing. Go to www.thedrearenee.com. Hello again. Welcome back, you guys. I am your amazing host, Deidre Renee, and also your fearless strategist. And I want to welcome you back to the second part of this episode called Consistency. As I was thinking about the podcast launch, I was thinking about what David Shands said, that everyone will not show back up. Even though they paid, which I cannot fathom paying that amount of money, even though it wasn't a lot, it was a lot to somebody else. And I'm currently not working, so it was a lot to me. And I could not imagine paying that amount of money and not showing up. But then when I thought about my life and I thought about all of the things that I have paid for and never followed through with, memberships to the gym, college tuition, I didn't finish college, still had student loans and debts to pay. And I was thinking, there are several things in life that we do not finish and we have paid good money for it. There was a hairstyle I had received a few years back, and my head was itching so bad. I took it out the next day and I spent over $300 for it, right? There are so many things, and yes, there are different variables to consider, but there are so many things that we have put money, energy, time, thoughts into, right? Emotions, and yet and still we choose to walk away. We choose to walk away. We choose to walk away. And we walk away for different reasons. We walk away because sometimes we're so discouraged. We walk away sometimes as a result of being discouraged and not having a village to talk us into staying and keeping, that same momentum. Sometimes we walk away because we feel like we don't have enough resources. Sometimes we walk away because we feel like we don't have enough knowledge. Sometimes we walk away because we never felt like we were good enough anyway. We never felt like we were worthy anyway. We never felt smart enough. The list goes on and on. And one day in 2020, I said, girl, there's people out here doing stuff that you could do better than them. And that's no shade to anybody, but you got to know who you are. And I said, Deidre, the only thing that is holding you back is you. The only person holding you back is you. I would show up for a few months, even a year, and then be like, oh, I'm tired. I even remember this is my 4th video for a podcast. And I remember the 3rd one, the last week's one, I was so tired, physically tired. I have a lot going on in my life, you guys. And I was like, yo, they just gonna have to miss a week. And then I had to say, oh, so you're teaching them not to expect you to follow through. Oh, so you're teaching them how inconsistent you will be as a podcaster. David said something so good. He said, I never break seasons for my podcast. It's just one continuous season. And I'm thinking, oh my God, so I'm going to have to record forever. You have options. You can do batch recordings. You can do batch recordings where you're not taping every week, but you're definitely putting out new content every week. And when he said that, he said, when you put a break in your seasons, you're teaching people not to consistently expect information from you. You're expecting them to take a break. And 9 times out of 10, when people take breaks, they do not come back. They do not look for you. They're not anticipating your new season to start. And I had to really, during this challenge, I had to really come to grips with the fact that I had to be sure my belief system had to be solid, right? And I had to let go of everything that I thought, that I came into podcasting thinking, right? And I had to listen to an expert. I had to take out time, as busy as I am, because I know he's even busier. David is even busier than I am. I had to take out time and begin to put a plan together and begin to listen to his advice. And the questions that were in VIP from my fellow podcasters ignited some things inside of me as well. I had nothing to fear but fear itself. And as a result of that podcast, I had an even more wind beneath my wings moment, right? I know that I was born for this. I used to have a TV show. I used to be a co-host for a radio show, and I just feel like the podcasting industry, that is my niche, right? That is where I belong. I belong here. And as a result of knowing that I belong here, I am going to show up every day. I just released an ebook today on Amazon, and it is called 5 Ways to Stay on Beast Mode. And it's talking about is consistency. All it is referring to is showing up time after time after time because somebody is waiting to hear what I have to say. My voice matters, but I have to know it, and I have to respect that it matters, and I have to respect the audience that I am now building, the community that I am now building. You guys, it is all about what you believe, and people can tell what you believe by how consistent and or inconsistent you are. I'll be right back after these messages. Hey, shiny girl, your 2022 digital calendar is here, and it also contains space for a planner and journaling. This is sure to assist the woman on the go to stay organized. This is ideal for use on your iPad or tablet. This hyperlink format is compatible with GoodNotes, Notability, and other similar format types. If you don't want to use this software, girl, we have a printable version available as well. Keep track of your personal goals, thoughts from devotion, track your fitness, and so much more. You're a beauty who also knows how to execute. Head over to thedeidrerenee.com and get yours now. Okay, you guys, I am back. I am your amazing host, Deidre Renee, and I'm here to give you some inspiration. I want to talk about Tom Brady's retirement. He is a 44-year-old, been in the NFL for 22 years, quarterback for the Buccaneers, and he has retired as of whatever date in 2022. We're only in February, so it has not been that long ago. And they're saying that Tom Brady can possibly be the first billionaire who was a former NFL player. He has options, right? Because he's been consistent. He could go into team ownership. He could write books. He could do broadcasting. He could do a podcast. He could have speaking engagements, pitch products, build up his existing companies, and so much more. All as a result of showing up. Michael Jordan and Tiger Woods definitely are billionaires. Tiger Woods, of course, played golf, and Jordan played basketball. They're saying that Tom Brady has what it takes as a former NFL player to become the first billionaire, right? He has these options because he always showed up. And it's one thing to show up, and then it's another thing to show up and be ready, right? It's one thing to show up. I could just show up on the podcast and just talk about what's on my heart, but no, I have to have a structure. I have to have strategy. I have to have things already planned out. Now, I can still speak from my heart, but the majority of what I say has to be premeditated. He couldn't get on the field and not attend practice. He couldn't get on the field and not know the plays and not listen to the coach. He had to get on the field and play. Even though he was a quarterback, he had to play as a team. When you show up, are you showing up as an island? Or are you showing up as a part of a community? I want for you to think about all of the things that I said, because at the end of the day, it's okay to be consistent, but it's even more so efficient and beneficial to show up consistently and prepared. Thank you for joining us today. And don't forget to like, share, and follow the No Fear Ever podcast on your favorite podcast platforms. I pray that today's episode helps you fear less than the day before. Until next time.